Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm kind of feeling some kind of way with a lot of religious discussions that's been out here a little bit late. So I thought I'd take a moment and throw my input out there, share a little bit what's going on up here. Um, I was recently watching religious fictions video and I found some things that were a little bit, I won't say disturbing as opposed to amusing. Um, for one, I want to say this. Don't make a religion of science, logic, and reasoning because science can't explain everything. It's bound to happen. The human mind is a finite thing. If it were infinite, believe me, there would be nothing that we could not accomplish. Then again, it was written in the Bible, let us go down and confound them in their language. Because if they work together, there is nothing they cannot accomplish. But I'm going to step aside and put the Bible aside for a few seconds and try to be as logical and meet you guys, the atheists, agnostics, and the like, as close as I can on your terms and maybe explain it to you where you can see it. Man's real purpose is a two-part thing. The world is ours to enjoy. And in this religious fiction, I don't disagree with you. Life is to enjoy. If you don't enjoy life, what is its purpose? But you can't scientifically guarantee me that there is no afterlife. That's just absurd. You can claim there's no afterlife, but you cannot quantify nor qualitatively prove that it doesn't exist. Can I prove that it exists? Well, I'm in the same boat that you do. Well, excuse me, that you are in. Pardon my improper grammar. For the reason being, if one of us could prove it, it would require us to be deceased. And the issue with that is, I have never met a person who has legally been declared dead and stayed dead for a considerable amount of time. And I don't mean within a matter of minutes. I mean days, hours, maybe even months. And pop back out of 6 feet of solid earth and say, I have seen the other side. So let's just hash that out right now. You can't say that an afterlife doesn't exist because you can't prove it. I can't prove that it exists, but I have every reason to believe it. Secondly, please do not say what you know to be is true. It is your version of the truth. Truth is a subjective term. Semantics, really. Because what you see as truth may not be what I see as truth. Next, let's get down to basics. The purpose in life, as I was saying, is a two-part purpose. And the first part, I don't disagree with you. It is to enjoy. I mean, after all, that's what we're here for, to enjoy life. But also, in the state in which we live, from creation in perfection to a fall from perfection and into redemption, our second part of purpose is to recommune and re-obtain that perfection. The whole purpose of an afterlife and that promise of an afterlife is not for a hope of a better life. It is the return, the full, complete return to the state of perfection that man was originally shapen in. And that is the failed perspective of the atheistic view. See, the problem I'm having with your disposition is that you're looking at this and you are reading it as you see it, not understanding that the Bible is a very symbolic book. Not everything that happened in the Bible happened literally. It happened in a symbolic way that underlined or underscored, rather, pardon me, I know it's redundant. It underscored a key point, a certain type of value, a certain mindset we are to have. Now, you'll go and point out, and this is more a generality for a moment, well, is it okay for a woman who is ready to be stoned? Let's just take it back for a second in the history lesson. There were two different time periods within the Bible, the book of the law and of the old covenant, in which, yes, blood sacrifices were demanded for the atonement of sins, because it says in the Bible, without blood there is no remission of sin. For the wages of sin is death. Therefore, blood is life. And so the life of something must be paid to wash away the guilt and the filth that sin brings. Naturally. However, the concept of Christ was used as a symbolic eternal sacrifice, so that it was no more a necessity for the burnt offerings. There was no more need for the Day of Atonement offerings. Now, that's a whole nother argument in itself. So to return to the point, the purpose of mankind, as I said earlier, is that recommunal with God. And the afterlife in itself is just the return to perfection. The purpose of our lives itself is the period of which we are building ourselves. What you may think is right and just and moral may not be such to me. I can sit here and say it. I've had premarital sex. I can't knock you for it. I've done it. So I won't knock you for something that I've done. I've done all kinds of things that I ain't proud of. And I won't sit here and bash you for it. But the difference is not recognizing that it was a pleasurable thing and is to be enjoyed. Because while it was pleasing to me physically, it is the mindset that is the problem. And that's where you're missing. That is the problem with what I see you're saying. You're missing that the mindset that you are partaking in is a mindset that is willfully disobedient. The purpose of mankind, in addition to enjoying their lives, is to obey. We were created for the purpose of worship. That's primarily our function. We were given free will. And it is your right to say, well, I don't want to do it. And I'm not going to bash you. I'm just laying it out there for you. That is your original purpose, to worship, to commune. I read in one of your remarks in your videos, it says, why does it say God said let us? Because God is a trinity. It is one being, but in three manifestations. It is beyond human concept to grasp what is supra or supernatural, because our minds are finite. We are limited to by what we can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. It is metaphysically impossible. And so no matter how hard you will logically try to put it through the ringer, it will never make sense to you. And this is where it separates the Christians from everyone else. This is why we find our purpose, and our purpose is through faith. Because faith leaves an opening, leaves an opening to say what we do not understand. We are not going to burden ourselves with trying to figure it out. because there are some things we just realize is beyond our capability to. We realize we are creatures of flesh. And while the sky is the limit for most things we can do, there is indeed a ceiling that every one of us will hit. And there are just some things humankind is not meant to grasp. And so, that which we explain, we leave explained by faith. Faith is that vessel which carries us through some things. I'm willing to bet in your most troubling times, you will probably let the words, oh, and God, come out of your mouth at least once. Before you die, I can promise you it will happen. It's happened more than you care to know. It's happened to me. And I'm saying it to be honest. Let's just face reality. You can't really label the purpose as simply one of a raw animality existence that's here today and gone tomorrow. Because in the grand picture of things, it means life is really pointless. There is nothing truly to work forward to other than self-pleasure and whatever you want to stick in that blank. And in the end, it has no value, no meaning. It pretty much means while there is a short-term order, in the bigger picture, there is no order, there is no goal, there is no in terms of betterment. Because everything that man builds cannot last forever. No matter what we may believe, it's not going to last. This is not a religious point of view thinking. This is scientifically proven. The majority of things that man has built is either destroyed or it's decayed. It cannot last. Laws have changed. Ways of thought have changed. So it stands to reason, and I'll close it with this, that if you believe that purpose in life has everything to do with today and not tomorrow, then you yourself have already fooled yourself into believing that what you see is all that is.